got our first... Oh my God, this is going to be impossible. Just work a little bit, man, work. We've got our first weekly content drop in NHL 25 featuring a new Gamebreaker card type, as well as new milestones and an objective path that's going to get us a free X Factor choice pack. Let's take a look. Up first, let's break down the new Gamebreaker cards. These are brand new cards that are going to be able to be built via sets and collectibles. However, they are going to work far different than any other type of card that we've got in years past. First, let's run through all of the new cards featuring the top 5 consensus NHL draft pick, Porter Martone from the Brampton Steelheads at 6'3", 196 and 80 overall right-handed forward. Unfortunately, only has 82 speed and 81 acceleration. Power forward isn't going to help out with that. Does have 88 agility, which is kind of interesting, and really good shot power up at 89. But his deking up at 73 means that with all of that combined, it's just really not going to be a usable card online for you. Next, at 80 overall, the left-handed defenseman Henrik Tomernes at 6'1", 185 with offensive defenseman, a little bit faster at 83 speed, 82 acceleration, and 84 agility. His hand stats and his shooting stats are all very mediocre, as is his body checking and defensive awareness, making him a total liability on your team if you were planning to use him. Moving on to the 81 overall player items, we've got the 81 Julius Honka at 5'11", 185. He does come with two-way defenseman to try and help with that abysmal defensive awareness. He does have 87 speed, 84 acceleration, and 88 agility, which is pretty nice. So of all the cards so far, an actual usable one in my opinion. If you are looking for a right-handed defenseman, this could be an okay option for you. Connor Ingram from the Utah Hockey Club gets an 81 overall at 6'2". After playing about 100 games of NHL 25, they have not done anything to fix the smaller goaltenders, unfortunately. So no matter what his stats are or any abilities, it is just going to be very difficult to use anyone that's under 6'4". Justin Falk at 81 overall is 6'2", with offensive defenseman. He does have 85 speed, 85 acceleration, and agility, which is decent at launch so far. We've seen the reduced overalls mean that 85 speed is usable. His defensive awareness is brutal as well, so he is not going to intercept passes at a really high clip. However, this is a card that you can earn for free via objectives, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Our next goaltender is Stuart Skinner at 6'4", so is a usable goaltender for any Oilers fans out there or someone that is looking for a goaltender that they can put in the net. Again, not much else to say here. He's 6'4". Gavin McKenna, another highly rated prospect from the WHL, 6'1", 165, with playmaking forward, which does jack his agility rating up even higher to 93. He does only have 85 speed and 83 acceleration, so he is going to make those cuts very quickly, and he does have 88 deking, which does make it a little bit interesting as well. However, he can't really create time and space with his skating other than that, and he's going to get pushed over by a strong gust of wind. He does have a nice shot power at 90 overall, and hand stats are in the mid-80s. He is a pure winger with only 76 faceoffs and very low body checking. Following him at 83 overall, we've got Emili Suomi at 5'10", 183. The left-handed centerman's got playmaking forward to get his agility to 88, 84 speed and 82 acceleration. Really is kind of abysmal considering his size, and his shot accuracy is brutal at 75 and 76 respectively. You combine that with only 78 faceoffs, this would be only if you're a fan of the player. However, the 83 Nick Suzuki is far more interesting. With playmaking forward, it gets his agility to 92, 88 speed, 87 acceleration, so one of the quicker cards in the game right now. Mid-80s shooting, great hand stats, and 82 faceoffs, meaning that you can use him and he will be one of the more effective centers that you can get. Even though he is only 5'11", he is 212 pounds, so he is harder to knock off the puck, especially with all of the low body checking ratings in the game. Now on to the 84s. We've got the 84 Morgan Riley at 6'1", 225. Does have two-way defenseman, which is, in my opinion, one of the best synergies in the game, as well as tape-to-tape. Now, I'll be honest with you, tape-to-tape has really not been all of that effective so far throughout the run of X Factor abilities being introduced way back in NHL 22. However, it does appear that in the offensive zone, there is a massive reduction in pass assist, and this might actually help when you're ripping it around the offensive zone. He does have 85 speed, 84 excel, and 86 agility, which is, again, completely fine at this stage of the game. And because he's 6'1", 225 with 81 body checking, this is one of the more effective left-handed defensemen that are not the hologram icons or team builder items that you can get. So a pretty impressive card here. And our second 84 is Mika Zibanejad, 6'2", 201 with sniper forward and silver 1T. my opinion, I think Silver 1T, while it is obviously impactful given the state of one-timers in NHL, I still think that it's a little bit harder to do it with wingers because everyone collapses, passes are being intercepted. On defensemen, however, that is where 1T is going to shine a little bit more. That being said, he does have 87 speed and 86 excel to go with 87 agility, and he is big, 6'2", 201, middle 80 hand stats, middle 80 shooting, as well as 79 faceoffs, which again is a little low, but if you are very good on the draws, you could use him at center. Finally, we get to the 85 overall Gamebreaker items. We've got Mikko Rantanen, always effective among the higher end players in Hockey Ultimate Team because he is 6'4", 215. Sniper forward, pushes 90 on his shot. Make it snappy, however, is not the same level of impactfulness that it was in NHL 24 so far, at least from my experience with it. It just really does not have the same effectiveness so far. 86 speed, 85 excel, 89 agility. That high agility rating is kind of nice. 88 hand stats across the board. So again, one of the better left-handed wingers that you can get right now. And then finally, Charlie McAvoy at 6'1", 209, two-way defenseman, which gets his defensive awareness up to 91. He's got 87 speed and 85 excel. His deking rating is a little low, but again, as a defenseman, not as important. And he does have gold shutdown, which is still one of the best abilities in the game. 84 body checking. All of that makes him one of the best right-handed defensemen that you can actually acquire. Again, not including any of the X Factor or power-up icon hologram items. So now let's talk about how you actually acquire these. And again, you can do this via sets. If you head on over to sets, there is a new Hut Gamebreaker set list that does have a 7-day cooldown. And in it, all of them you will see require 6 collectibles to complete the set, giving you a various overall rated player from the Gamebreaker items. So this is where it is kind of interesting. You will see that the first set will give you with 6 collectibles an 80 overall and above Hut Gamebreaker item. This will be tradable, which is again something to keep in mind. You can also trade in 6 Gamebreaker collectibles and get an 82 overall Gamebreaker player item. So again, these would be the cards that are 82 overall. It is untradeable, however. Keep in mind that untradeable cards can be used in sets. And then finally, if you trade in 6 Gamebreaker collectibles, you can make the 84 overall Gamebreaker player items. These are going to be account bound. And again, it doesn't look like you are going to get to choose between 2 of the 84s, which would have been Morgan Riley and Mika Zibanejad. So if you really need one, understand that there is a risk. Because it is account bound, it means that you are not going to be able to use it in a future set. You're not going to be able to sell it. It is only going to be able to be used in your lineup. Now, the reason why this is so interesting, because obviously you would just try and go and make as many as you want, is that you can only acquire 6 Gamebreaker collectibles. So if you head on over to Hut Moments, there is a new Gamebreaker Moments list, and you will see 18 different moments, all ranging in difficulty and featuring the Gamebreaker items that were released. And as you will see all the way throughout, you will earn Hut Breaker collectibles as well as some coins and a few players packs all the way through. Now, completing all 18 will net you 6 of these collectibles again, which will allow you to make one of those Gamebreaker sets. Now, it is very early on, but here would be my recommendation in terms of what set you would want to do. If you have a God Squad and any of these cards are not going to make your lineup other than maybe Charlie McAvoy or Mikko Rantanen, obviously you want to shoot your shot and see if you can get a tradable Charlie McAvoy or Mikko Rantanen. On top of that, if you get anyone else, you could just sell them. Even 80 overalls are still going for around 9,000 coins at the time of this recording. The 82 untradables, because we do not have confirmation that it includes an 82 plus set, meaning that can you still pull all of these cards but they're untradeable, there's no guarantee of that at the time of this recording, and it is not listed in the actual set page. So doing the untradeable set for 82 overalls would net you either Gavin McKenna or Stuart Skinner. Maybe if you're looking for a goalie, it's not like Gavin McKenna is going to be a bad card for you early on, but this would be the one that I think I would avoid, because even if you got an 82 and you could trade it into a set in the future, it doesn't look like 82 overall items are going to be impactful in sets for a little while. And then again, lastly, you can make the 84 overall account bound set, which would allow you to get one of Mika Zibanejad or Morgan Riley. I'll be honest, I've been playing this game a ton. You can hear it in my voice. The subathon lasted a week, and both of these players would make my team. So if you are completely free to play and you need some players to actually make your team, if you did not pre-order the game, so you literally started from scratch, I would probably play it safe early on and shoot my shot on Mika Zibanejad or Morgan Riley, because both of these cards would actually be impactful for you. The next piece of content from the drop is we've got 4 Utah Hockey Club milestone cards that were released. taking a quick look at these milestone cards, we've got Michael Kesselring at 6'4", 190 with two-way defenseman. My opinion, even though he is big and has decent defensive awareness with two-way defenseman, at 81 speed, no matter how early on in the game you are, that's just really not going to be usable. Next up, we've got Juuso Välimäki at 6'2", 205. Again, two-way defenseman helps out with his lower defensive awareness, but he does have 85 speed and 83 acceleration. That's not awful. That is usable, and he is bigger. So if you are looking for a very cheap left-handed defenseman, if he falls to the very minimum price, I don't know if I would even consider it then. But Logan Cooley checks in, the 82 overall at 5'10", 174 as playmaking forward, and very good skating at 87 speed, 89 acceleration. His agility can get up to 92. His shot is in the low to mid 80s. Hand stats are in the high to mid 80s. He is a pure winger, but definitely a fun skater. And early on in NHL 25, the smaller skaters that are pretty quick are very effective. And then lastly, the 84, Clayton Keller at 5'10", 178, playmaking forward, 90 speed, 89 acceleration, and 93 agility. Makes him one of the faster cards in the game. He's also got silver puck on a string. This will help you if you do toe drags or when you stick handle left or right. In my opinion, I think this is more of an ability for players that play a lot of World of Chell because you stick handle quite a bit. Mid to high 80s shooting, 90 hand stats. Definitely an effective card early on if you are looking for a left-handed winger. Something to note about the milestone cards, you can only get them in the auction house. There's no way to create them or get a choice pack for them. New cover athlete cards featuring the 83 Teemu Selanne, as well as PK Subban, Nino Niederreiter, Henrik Zetterberg, and Patrick Elias. So PK Subban joins the game via the alumni program. He has got two-way defenseman and is a pretty impactful right-handed defenseman card. 85 speed and 84 acceleration. Great endurance at 88 with two-way defenseman. His defensive awareness is up at 85, and his body checking is 83, so definitely a usable right-handed defenseman card. Nino Niederreiter checks in, 6'2", 218. The left-handed winger's got two-way forward with 85 speed, 84 acceleration, agility, and balance. Mid to low 80s shooting, 81 hand stats across the board, and only 80 body checking, so definitely a more mediocre card. Is big, though, which is nice. I think it is good to mix in some of the smaller players with big items. He is a pure left-handed winger, though, and there are a lot of those. Patrick Elias from the New Jersey Devils gets sniper forward, which helps out his already decent shot. He's got 85 speed and 82 acceleration and only 85 agility. His balance is also down at 75. He does have good size, but I would expect him to get knocked off the puck pretty easily. 88 hand stats across the board. Again, another pure left-handed winger. And then Henrik Zetterberg, he returns. 86 speed, 85 acceleration, and agility up at 87 with playmaking forward. He's 6 foot, the 197 left-handed centerman, only has 76 face-off rating, meaning that he is a left-handed winger in this game. He's got 83 deking. His hand stats are all pretty good, as well as an 88 overall offensive awareness. So a pretty well-rounded card. I would have loved to see a higher face-off rating so that you could use him at center, but nonetheless, we get Henrik Zetterberg back. And then finally, one of the most exciting items that was dropped today is the 83 Teemu Selanne with sniper forward, 89 speed, 90 acceleration, 85 agility, high 80s shooting, as well as high 80s hand stats. One of the fastest cards in the game always. He is a pure right-handed winger and now available as a cover athlete item. Lastly, when it comes to the cover athlete cards, if you have not done the cover athlete moments yet, the 82 cover athlete player item that is untradeable should include the new drop today. So if you haven't done it yet, it might be better to wait until Friday to see if even more cover athletes drop at 82 overall if you want them in the pool. But if you want a shot at Zetterberg or Subban, you could go ahead and complete it, and they should be in the player pool for this pack. The same thing also goes for anyone that has not completed the wildcard path. When you get to 2,000 wildcard path points, you get another random 82 overall cover athlete player item that should include the new 82 overall items. All right, on to, in my opinion, the biggest addition in this drop, and that is the objectives. Starting first with the Ready, Set, Go objectives. And as you can see, by completing these 8 objectives, you will get an X Factor Series 1 player choice pack, which is huge. This is something that was not in the XP path, helping us actually work towards the Captain X Factor player items. You need 8 of them, and this will knock it down so that you only need 7 more. Now, to complete them, you are going to need to just do various things with X Factor player items. You should already have a couple, at least one from your starter pack, and these can all be done in Rivals. There isn't any of these objectives that is going to be egregiously long or that you're going to have to go to squad battles for, so that is a W. Along the way, you're also going to get a couple tokens, but as well as some random 7 75 overall player items. Again, these can be used in the 75 overall trade-in set for more X Factor items. So that is something that is desperately needed because the 75 overall players are so expensive in general. So this is a step in the right direction. Now, like I mentioned, going over the Game Breakers, we've got the Hut Game Breakers objective path. And by completing all of these, you will get the Hut Game Breaker 81 overall Justin Falk that I showed earlier. Now, this objective path does not look like you're going to be able to start working towards it until you complete the moments. So you are going to want to go and complete all 18 moments, choose which of the sets you want to go with, and then get one of the cards. And remember, this is just complete games. So one of the easier ways to do it, if you don't want to put a card in your lineup that's going to hinder it, is if you get a goaltender, you can throw him in your backup spot if you wanted to, or if you wanted to rent, let's say, Stuart Skinner. Again, if you don't want to use him, you can put him in your lineup as a backup goalie, and that would still count. This is going to complete games, and if you have more Game Breaker items in your lineup, if you have 2, let's say, every game will count as 2. So the more you have, the faster this is going to go. But it looks like you're only going to be able to get 1 for free, which is obviously going to take you 25 games. And then lastly, we got the XP Season Week 2 objectives. It looks like this is going to be coming Thursday, so stay tuned for that. And then lastly, we've got the Weekly Hut Moments. This is going to have you doing 8 different weekly moments that will earn you weekly moment packs. These are not going to be anything special for you, but these are going to be very quick. And then the last one will get you 2,000 coins as well as an 80 overall Nick Bustad that is untradeable, not BND. So that's a welcome change here from the first week. The 80 overall Nick Bustad is gigantic at 6'6", 209 in power forward, 83 speed, 82 acceleration. It's very low, but that's probably the absolute minimum I would go. But because he is so big, again, it might be nice to mix in someone that's huge if you're running a line of multiple smaller player items at this stage of the game. And again, you can earn him for free by doing the weekly moments. That's going to do it for the very first weekly content drop for Hockey Ultimate Team. Make sure you subscribe with notifications on so that you don't miss any of the newest content and news from NHL 25. Thank you again for watching. See you next time.